go. It's a Tuesday night. It's Super League Raw weekly time. Greg is away. He's sunning himself. We did put it out to the community. We had some volunteers, and at the 11th hour, the volunteers have let us down. So on put on there the link to this meeting. So if anybody would like to join me, feel free to just go onto that link, press the link, and I will accept you into the room. And you tonight can join me if you wish, and we can have a chat about all things rugby league. I'm going to try my best to keep it going in the interim. Get involved on the chat as always. Please share with all of your friends, as I always ask you to do. Good evening to Barry, Joel, Graham, as usual, joining us. They're all starting to come in. So yeah, it's open, guys. If you want to join me, come and join me. We'll go where we need to do. Andy and Sue with us as well. 5 rounds to go, looking tight for 5th and 6th along with relegation battle. Yeah, absolutely right. Alex Sharp is with us as well. So like I say, if anybody wants to come on, the link is in the chat. Just go on there. You should be able to press it, I would hope. If not, then send me a private message and I'll let you. Joel, if you want to join me, see if you can accept the Zoom link in the chat. I think you can. I've just tried it. So if you go onto the Zoom link in the chat, that'll basically give you the chance to come on live. It'd be good to have you on. And if anybody else wants to do it, then by all means do. But I think Joel might be joining us, Huddersfield Giants fan, which would be good if he does. But in the meantime, let's crack on. So quite a bit of news coming out this evening, actually. It should be, mate. If you actually go, sorry, guys, if you actually go to join Zoom meeting, that bit, and just press on it where it says HTTPS, it should actually then send you through. Have a go at that, mate. Danny Richardson has signed a 2-year extension at the Castleford Tigers this evening, which isn't really a surprise, I don't think. I think everybody would have expected that. He's been in superb form, hasn't he, for the Castleford Tigers. I think we've all been very, very impressed with how he has been performing this year. So very much deserving to be done there. Sean Allen Spencer saying he just wants Thursday night to be over at the Halliwell Jones. Couldn't agree with you more on that one, mate. Couldn't agree with you more on that. Also, surprising tonight, Liam Sutcliffe has been announced as a new recruit for Hull FC next season. That's quite out of left field. That one's been quiet on the radar, and I'm sure that Hull FC fans will be quite happy with that one. Be interested to know what our usual Hull FC fans Tracy and Steve make of that one. Sutcliffe going to Hull. Who'd have thought? That was an interesting one today. And of course, the big news this morning: Lee Breers heading over to the NRL as coach of Brisbane Broncos. I think everybody's been very impressed with the way in which Breers, Pete, and McLaughlin have really. Sean McLaughlin has done it at Wigan this year in terms. With the job that they've done this year. So I'm just keeping an eye on the chat, guys. Breeze going, and I think a lot of Wigan fans have been very sad today to see Breeze going. Had a massive impact at the Wigan Warriors this season. I'm sure we'd all agree with that. And it'd be interesting to see how his development continues over in Australia. I think there's no question that Lee Breers will be coming back at some point to Super League as a coach. Who that will be for, we'll have to wait and see. But I think what really impresses me about Lee Breers is the fact that, he's in no rush to become head coach. He's doing his apprenticeship. He's doing it well. I think I remember Steve McNamara. I think when McNamara lost the England job, he had a little spell over in the NRL, just looking at their methods, looking at their ways. I think it's fair to say that he's done a tremendous job since he came back. Joel is here. Good man. Here we go. We've got Joel coming in. One of the Super League Fans Forum members. He's coming on, which is fantastic. There he is. There's the lad. He's in sunny Wales. Can you hear me, Joel?
Hey, up.
Good lad. There you go. He's got the beers as well. There you go, Joel, and so have I. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are an inclusive show. Joel sunning himself in Wales. Where about in Wales are you, Joel?
Just outside of Aberystwyth.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. And the weather's been kind to you?
Fantastic, yeah. Played golf yesterday.
Oh, good lad. And what did you go around in?
Say again, sorry?
What did you go around in?
87. Not bad.
87. Where'd you play?
It was Aberystwyth Golf Course. Then we're playing
Nice.
Abu Dhabi on Thursday. So yeah.
Well done, mate. Well done. And of course, Huddersfield, a resident Huddersfield fan, Joe.
Absolutely, yeah.
Enjoying the season, my friend.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
We're doing really well.
Yeah, and fancy your chances as we heading into the business end of the season. Do you think you could cause an upset or two, maybe get to your first grand final?
Yeah, I think so. The problem we've had is obviously the injuries. Now I've been at the home and the away games. That Saints one hurt us, but
you had a big opportunity there. You had a massive opportunity there, didn't you?
Yeah. The scoreline don't reflect how we played it first 15, but then we just got rolled over. You know, the champions for a reason, aren't they? And they played fantastic.
Well, it was very, very much like Warrington against Wigan. You know, for the first, well, certainly the first half, probably the first 50, 60 minutes, Warrington were in it, and then Wigan just steamrolled Warrington. And I think that, very, 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 very similar in that respect. But no, I'm really pleased for Huddersfield. I just wish your attendances were a bit higher because I think the brand of rugby that you're playing this season deserves a bigger crowd. Toby King, what's your thoughts of Toby King? You'll have seen him at closer quarters.
Yeah, do you know, I've heard a lot of social media is always saying it. You know, you got positive, negative. I think he's very good, to be honest with you. Certain things I've seen. I think people need to remember as well, though, that when they're giving that kind of comments, they've got to remember he's coming into a team that's already, you know, fully fledged on a full pre-season together and played a full year. He's been used to Warrington and not been having many games. So, yeah, people need to give him a bit of slack and just give him a chance to get into the game. But what I've seen, fantastic. You know, when he's
on his day, mate. On his day, I mean, I don't know what's gone wrong at Warrington for him, but since he signed the contract, the extended contract, his form dipped. And but there's no question. I think for the first half of last season, King was absolutely irreplaceable. You know, even St. Helens, I think, was sniffing around him at the time as Hull KR were. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Wardle and King at the end of the season. But whilst we've got a Huddersfield fan on, Danny Levy's got to be a big plus for you this year.
Oh, fantastic. I think he's one of the best hookers we've ever had. And that's a bit controversial. Some people at the game I was talking to when we played you guys, they said, "Oh no, I'm not sure about that." But you know, you look at the way he plays. He's quick off the ruck. He's the first in, you know, and he's very vocal. And I think that's really important for a hooker. You know, when Luke Robinson did it for us for a while, when he stepped in to do a bit of hooking, you know, you always had that, and that's what you need. Somebody who's vocal, who can, and because you can have a couple of leaders in there, I think, in each part of the pack.
No, absolutely. And Chris McQueen. I mean, what's going on there? He has to sign, doesn't he?
God, man, I've been calling for it for ages.
Yeah,
he needs to. It seems like the older he gets, the better he plays. It's like Jerry. He's the same.
Yeah. We felt for McGilvery. It was a real blow that for Jermaine. To be fair, I mean, him and Cudjoe this year have rolled back the years, haven't they? Those two have been in sensational form for you.
Oh yeah. Cudjoe, I think had a bit of a dip past few years, but since Watto's came in, he's really found his game. And what I think he seems to do is he seems to find the players' strengths and bolsters that strength, you know, and helps them where they're not so good. And he's brought them up. So as a team collectively, they've become very strong.
Spot on. Well, we didn't know Joe was going to be on tonight, so we may as well talk a little bit about Huddersfield and this, that, the other. If anybody else wants to come on, the link's there. It works, as Joel has proven. So by all means, the more the merrier. We say every week, me and Greg, come on the show. It just brings a new flavour to it. We all love the game, you know, and we can have a chat about it. So coming into tonight's show, mate. I just want to take your view on this. I don't know if you caught it beforehand. We were just talking about a couple of headlines this evening. Danny Richardson has signed a 2-year extension at Castleford. I think that's deserved. Yeah, he's been quality, hasn't he?
He's done well. Yeah, he's one of them players. You know, you just ever faithful. You know, ever strong. Yeah, you know, he's one of them players. I think any Super League side would have him, wouldn't they?
Well, I think it's one of them, innit? I mean, it's how long he can sustain the form for. But I mean, on current form, Richardson deserves that 2-year extension without any question. And I think, you know, against Warrington, he schooled us with his kicking. He was outstanding that day. So really pleased for him. And then Sutcliffe from Leeds to Hull tonight has been announced. That has come from nowhere.
Can't believe that.
Yeah,
I spoke to a few Leeds fans, and they just can't believe it. If anybody, there was him that they wanted to keep, really, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I think he's been in good form. I think he's a good player, to be honest. Briscoe also, he's not going to get given a contract at Leeds. Brad Dwyer he's still not, which again is a surprise because I think Dwyer's been consistent for him. But they've said today that they're trying to convince Hardaker to sign on. So interesting that. A lot of things going on at Leeds. But to be fair, since Smith come in, bit of a slow start, but they're starting to get a little bit of steel. They're starting to get a bit of consistency.
Makes sense with that. Hardaker could stay on, I think.
On his day, he's class, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's one of the best, isn't he? Yeah.
I'd agree with that, mate. I'd agree with that. Right. Didn't know you were coming on. Oh, yeah, sorry. What's your thoughts on Breers going to the NRL? That's come out as well today.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, mixed on that one.
Oh, yeah?
Because fantastic in Super League, always been around Super League. NRL's a different beast. It's a different animal,
But he'll learn more. But again, I was saying that you might have missed it, but remember when McNamara, I think when he went out of the England job, he went over to study the NRL, the coaching methods, and this, that. He had a bit of sabbatical over in the NRL, and then of course came back to manage Catalan Dragons. And I think Breer's going over there. It's a different brand of rugby. It's a different style of rugby. I think in terms of his coaching development, I think and taking his age into consideration, there's no rush in terms of him getting a coaching role. I think he's been exceptional at Wigan. Word coming out of Wigan is, the Wigan fan. I mean, who thought it? Wigan fans are devastated today that Lee Breers is leaving. So that says everything for me. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to watch that. And I think there's no question on his return, he will. I would expect be a head coach.
Oh yeah, there's no harm to him being done. It's just, you look at some of the coaches and like even players as well. They go to NRL and sometimes hit jackpot, play well. Look at Dom Young, fantastic player being played. But there is some that can sometimes just get caught in the background a little bit. Yeah. I hope he doesn't, because he is very, very good. Clearly was a fantastic player and an amazing coach, wasn't he? So hopefully, he comes back at some point as head coach, yeah.
Andy and Sue, our usual Castleford fans on here. Who will be Castleford's halfbacks if rumours are true for 2023? Well, let us know, Andy and Sue. Do you think your halfbacks will be at Castleford in 2023? Right, Joe, I've got a bit of a graph. Just pull this one together. We know the issues that are going on at Warrington this year. It's painful as a Warrington fan to see. But yeah, I'll pull this together in terms of, tale of 2 seasons, because I think this is quite an interesting graphic. Wigan, 2021. Had a win percentage in the regular season of 60%. Their average goal forward was 15.5 points a game, and their average conceding was 15.5. And over the course of the season, it was more than the 22 rounds, but I think they played 25 games. They amassed 30 points. Roll forward to this year, win percentage up to 73. And whilst they're conceding more, they are scoring a lot more. They seem to have took the shackles off a little bit. I mean, everybody's saying under Lamb that it was a boring style of rugby league. Obviously, the shackles have come off a little bit. So Wigan, as we've already said, doing well. And then we come to your team, Huddersfield. Watson last year, it was always going to be in transition. Win percentage of only 38%. And at the time, very similar to Brett Hodgson, there was a lot of people questioning, would Watson hold on? Would Watson be there in 2023? Only 19 points scored, 21 conceded, 18 points over the season. Again, roll forward, a year, 64% win rate, slightly up on the scoring, but better defence and 29 points, a great return. Very reminiscent of what, it would appear Warrington are going to keep the faith. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think if Toulouse turn Warrington over on Thursday, that will severely be tested. And I don't know about you, I thought it was the first time that I've seen Powell after a game react in a way that would suggest there may be pressure there. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think sometimes that can come from fans as well. Around the club, there's expectations at Warrington, like there is at Leeds, Wigan, so on and so forth. Like you look at Wigan's, like you said, all right, defence hasn't been as good, but the attack has been better. Yeah. That comes from that style of play. They're happy to take risks. Yeah. Look at them in Challenge Cup final against us. They were happy to take major risks. Yeah. It's quite volatile, is that? Yeah. Warrington, it's a club that demands, results. And I was actually talking to a few of the Warrington fans at the game. Yeah. And they said to me, should we keep Powell or what? And I said, keep him. Look at Watto. 1 year. I agree. Terrible. He's got to put his stamp on it. And
I agree.
I think fans have to be patient. That's the main thing. We've been patient for 80 odd years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if Warrington, I mean, Warrington have been running a certain way, certainly since Tony Smith left. And, we've never won a grand final. We've done well in the Challenge Cup, but we've never won a grand final. And I think that, Powell has come in. There's been some big characters leave. You never know what goes on behind the scenes. But I think, we see it in all sports. There should be only one decision maker in a club, and that should be the coach or the manager. Absolutely. And I think what we're seeing here is that Powell's gone in, and you've got, as a fan, you don't see him in training. You don't know what goes on in the club, and you shouldn't. You look at football. The best clubs are the ones who do the business behind closed door, keep things in the dressing room. They don't let things go out. And I think that what we're seeing with Darryl Powell is exactly that. He's shipping out who clearly he wants to ship out. I think acquisition-wise, again, people are talking about certain players being over the hill. I mean, I saw some comments today about Dudson, about Cassiano, Vaughan. I don't know where they're coming from with Vaughan, because Vaughan's quality. Vaughan, Maguire being over the hill. Yeah, we shouldn't have let Cooper go, and Cooper's older than all of them. And it's just like, it beggars belief, really.
Yeah. Well, I think of it this way, right? You look at players who, like, we've taken Chris Hill from you. He admittedly said himself, he'd been there that long that he didn't find that he was playing his best rugby. Yeah. He's come to Huddersfield, now he's playing great. Yeah. Cooper, yeah, fantastic player. Had a bit of a lull last season. This season, not bad. But, players move on, play better. Yeah. You look at some of the signings that you guys have made for next year. I said this from the beginning when you got some of the NRL players. Man, Warrington will look dangerous next year.
I agree.
They just, I go back to what I said. People need to back off Powell a little bit, like ease that pressure off him, give him chance to put his procedures in and everything that he wants, And you look at Watson, he says processes. He kept saying it. Maybe bored some people saying it, but look, the processes are working. Give Powell that opportunity. That's what I say.
No, completely agree. And then, on that graphic as well was Salford Red Devils. Rowley, when Rowley got put in at Salford. Now, don't get me wrong. They're still only a 45% win ratio. They're 6 points better off last year. They're not going down the safe, which is a new feeling. But in attack, they have been very, very dangerous. And you talked earlier on about Huddersfield's injury problems. Has any team had more injuries this year than Salford? And yet they have managed to claw. I think it was Wigan earlier in the season. They ran them very, very close. They've been competitive. They played a really good brand. And Brodie Croft, what a signing!
Wow, revelation, that lad.
Yeah. I would say he's been my. Well, no, because I don't know if you caught the show earlier in the season when we were doing the prequels and we were looking at each squad. And I said at the time I'd seen a bit of Croft in the NRL. I said this guy's got the potential to be very, very good in the Super League, and he has been. But did I expect him to hit the ground running like he has done? I don't think I did. I thought he'd have a good season, but
not many players have.
What's that, mate?
Not many players have. Usually it takes two seasons,
absolutely,
just to acclimatise to the weather, never let alone anything else.
I agree, mate. I agree. He's been very, very special indeed. Very, very special indeed. Love a bit of Brodie Croft. I think. Will he? The only concern I think for Salford fans is it going to be another Hastings? Because at some point he's going to be poached, isn't he? I mean, there's money talks at the end of the day, and it did with Hastings. He'll want to go, and with all due respect to Salford, they're not going to win Super League in the next 3 or 4 years. People might say why not, but they haven't got the strength in depth. They haven't got the squad. You could see a big, what is classed as a bigger club, come in for Brodie Croft. I mean, at the end of this season, I think Luluai's stepping down. I mean, all right, still got cut. I think Harry Smith's form is probably going to make that not a possibility. Saints seem to be all right. Obviously, they've got Lomax and the young lad who's we not spoke to him about him in bloody weeks. Young lad who's out injured. Oh, Doddy, who was outstanding before him. So again, I think that they're pretty well placed. I mean, I'll be honest with you, former Salford player Ratchford, for me, I'm amazed we've given him 2 years. He's no longer got the pace. He's not the player he was. Powell.
He's not playing position either.
No, Powell's saying he's in the halves. If Ratchford is in the halves, I'm sorry. He holds on the ball. He holds onto the ball when he should pass. When pressure's on, again against Wigan, I saw it against Hull KR. Forward passes happen, ill discipline happens. He just doesn't. if Warrington, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've got to be getting close to the cap if not already on it. But I mean, Croft at Warrington, God, I'd be rolling the longest red carpet down to the AJ Bell that you've ever seen. And he could just drive down it, quite happily. You know what I mean? But anyway, there you go. Right, let's get into some action, and we'll get your view on that. Before we do, I don't know if are you used to Zoom?
Yeah.
Good man. So what we do now, we're gonna just come off video, go on mute for a bit, and we're gonna have a quick look, as we always do, at the top performers of round number 22 before we get to the fixtures. So here we go. The top performers for round number 22. Some good performances in there. Ollie Holmes, of course, for Warrington Wolves, the top tackler. Warrington, the most tackles of the season, comfortably as well, not keeping hold of the ball. Do you know Uncle Freddie McGilvery? Do you know Uncle Freddie?
I do, yeah.
Do you know Uncle Freddie? He's on. He's giving you a round of applause here, mate, on Facebook. He's delighted that you've stepped in as Uncle Freddie.
Better, Uncle Freddie, by the way.
Why has he not been well?
No, I don't know what if he wants me to say anything, but I know he's.
Oh, well, we'll just leave it at that. He's not been well. We send our best wishes to Uncle Freddie. We hope that you and Jermaine are on the mend list as soon as possible. Right.
By the way, we need to get Greg Roach on here as well.
Greg Roach, yeah, fine, yeah, mate. If you ever want to come on, I mean, come on again next week. Greg's still away. He'll be delighted with what you're doing, and mate. If you ever want to come on, you just tip me the wink. We'll send you the link. You're more than welcome. This is for everyone. That's why we do it, and it brings a bit of flavour, like your barbecue, mate. I'm sure you've had one. Right, let's get into last week then. So these were the fixtures, of course. The Robins taking on Toulouse Olympic in what was a great and very tight affair at the Sewell Group Craven Park. The Giants. Yes, Joel was very nearly going on his holiday with a bit of a sweat on, but they came back and they did what they needed to do. Freddie saying cheers, Joel, for the shout out. Then, of course, it was the Warrington Wolves taking on Wigan at the DW. Saints took on Castleford, another tight game as well. Rhinos against the Red Devils, expecting more out of that, to be honest, but the Rhinos again, under Smith doing well. And then finally Trinity took on the Dragons in another game that could have gone either way. It was a really, really tight week of rugby league. So let's get into the action then. The Robins, of course, took on Toulouse Olympic. Here we go, and let's get into it. What did you make? Have you managed to see the highlights of the games, Joe?
I saw the highlights, yeah. This one took me by surprise a little bit. Because Toulouse were really on a bit of a run, weren't they? They look like they've been scared. Do you know what has annoyed me a little bit for Toulouse more than anything is the big teams, they've taken them on head on and really given them a good bash. It's been the teams that have been closer to them where they've just taken the foot off the pedal a little bit.
And they haven't travelled well, have they? I say that, God, I shouldn't have said that. They're playing us this week, but they haven't. They haven't. The home form has been very, very impressive, hasn't it?
Yeah, they always say, don't you? Build your fortress at home, and then the rest starts coming along. Yeah, but boy, they have been impressive in some games this year.
Well, I mean, they could have easily took 2 points off us. Was it Saints that beat them at the death?
Yeah.
I think it was Saints. Oh no, they beat Saints. So it was Wigan that they beat. Wigan, wasn't it?
They beat Saints.
That took it just at the end. And there he is again, good old Matty Russell. I tell you, mate, he's a good little winger, Matty Russell. He's a good little winger.
They've made some good mid-season signings, Toulouse.
I've always been very good for him. I think Elliot, well, you'll know Ashelbot very well. And you know what? I've got a lot of respect for Ashelbot. The fact that, we see so many, especially in football, not necessarily rugby, players just basically just sitting on a bench and not backing themselves. You've got to give credit where it's due. It was, for him to go over there because he wants to play, and rightly so. And he's arguably been one of their, if not their best player this season.
He has. I was genuinely gutted when he left us because I guess you guys won't have seen it much, but we see it week in, week out. I'm sure Freddie will tell you this, that Ashelbot, whenever he came on with full energy, and he just gave everything. Everyone talks about Will Price, how he can dart in for tries and look for opportunities. Ashelbot was the exact same, and he's going to be no end of good for Toulouse.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's been really good, and I've been happy. I mean, Toulouse this season, well, I'm not writing them off because Wakefield, it's perilous. They've got Saints this week, haven't they? Wakefield, so. And if Toulouse was to beat Warrington, I mean, it really is cat amongst the pigeon times, and it's really going to get very, very tasty.
Even Armitage has been great, hasn't it, for him?
Say that again, mate.
Armitage has been brilliant for him.
Yeah, I tell you, we've been really. Guy Armitage. Yeah, Guy Armitage has been a revelation for him. Again, one of those players that probably not a lot of people would have known about going into this season, but very like Tim. Yeah, it's like Tim Lafayette as well at Salford. He's another centre who's had a great season. Who going into the year, you're talking about the Percivals of this world, Toby King, Wardles, to name but a few. At no point Armitage or Lafayette would have come into people's mindset, but they've been outstanding this year. Outstanding, really, really good. And of course, the big lad is Sangeri, who's going over to Leeds. He's a big unit. He's a very big unit. I think the only concern I've got for Toulouse is, yes, they've got Warrington, and this might give Warrington fans a little bit of happiness. After Warrington, they've got Wigan, Catalan, Hull, and Saints. That's a hell of a run in that, Whereas if you look at, sorry, it's Wigan, isn't it? That Wakefield played this week, not Saints. But yeah, after Wigan this weekend, they've got Hull FC, Hull KR, Saints, and then Huddersfield. They've got you last game of the season. So, there's no doubt in my mind that in terms of running, Toulouse have got the toughest running. Warrington's final fixtures, Leeds, Castleford, Huddersfield, Salford. So I think there's no doubt that, Toulouse have got the hardest running of them all. But again, Hull KR, we talked about injuries. Hull KR went into this game. I mean, I think I'm right in thinking, didn't he play Jeslett and Milnes as the two halfbacks in this game?
Yeah, just a lot of that's been going on this season, hasn't it? It's strange.
There's been a lot of injuries. I mean, it's like Regan Grace, and Regan Grace has gone now, and I think the leagues have got to look at that because I agree. This year great try. I mean, they'll be disappointed to lose there to concede that, but credit to Hull KR, they played to the death, didn't they? But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of ACLs this year, a lot of ankle issues this year. Sam Tompkins came out, didn't he, in the week, and he's questioned the fixture list, which, to be honest, I don't know too much about that. I mean, I remember the days, you'll remember the days where it was, not only was it the league, the Challenge Cup, but we had the Regal Trophy, we had the Premiership as well. Yeah. So, we had and for good measure, the likes of the Lancashire Cup, etc. So I sort of get, I certainly think as good as the Easter round is for the fans, I don't know if you saw the show earlier in the year where I said that, in order to promote the reserves grade, that perhaps on those two rounds at Easter, you can't play the same team twice. Yeah. Which would make them have to put reserves in, a blend of first team stroke reserve team players in there, which is good for player welfare, but also gives those reserve players the opportunity of playing a game in Super League. And if every team has got to manage that appropriately, could be an interesting could be an interesting thing for him to do.
Yeah, I remember that show. I completely agree with that. It's an opportunity for the young lads to show what they can do, because in a normal round of Super League, they ain't going to get the games, really. Let's be honest about it.
No.
No. And if you're managing, your coach only going to sub 4 players at any one game, the chances of them getting a game is very, very slim. I don't know about your thoughts on this when you talked about all the ACLs and all the injuries that's been happening, but I've been wondering about this. Do you think rules like the 6 again, having in mind what you said about the quick turnarounds of fixtures, could that have anything to do with it? Because some of these coaches, these medical people are fantastic in our game.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, when you're keeping the pace of the game going, yeah, it's exciting. But, is that the demise of some of the injured players?
I think for me, there's a couple of things. Again, it's a great point, Joel. To be fair to you, mate, it's a great point. But my view on this, couple of things. One, 6 again in the attacking team's own half is a nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's a penalty. It slows it. It's a breaking play, and it gives the attacking team an opportunity of kicking the ball 30 yards and actually getting an advantage. I do not understand 6 again in your own half. 6 again in the opponent's half, yes, because you've got momentum.
Absolutely.
So I get that. I understand that. So I think, again, the Rugby Football League needs to, and they always say to stay off the NRL. Wouldn't it be lovely to see the Rugby Football League actually go, well, actually, no, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to do it a bit different, and actually bring that in and say, right, to the referees, 6 again should be for the attacking team's benefit and can only be given in the opposition's half. But that'd be a cracking step forward. And again, what that would do is bring a couple of extra breaks in play where penalties take place in their own half. And then the second thing for me, which again would bring breaks in play, bring Joel's doing great. Hey, up, you're getting Alex Sharpie. You're doing a great job. Great, hey, Alex Sharpie, he's giving you applause.
Come back next week, then, eh?
You're coming back next week. You're coming back, mate. The other thing is, and me and Greg's been calling for this all season, I think the captain's challenge in the NRL is superb.
Oh yeah,
absolutely superb. And over here, I actually think over here it would force the referees to up the game.
Yeah, I said that the other week.
Yeah, go on, mate.
No, I remember saying that in comments of the week. That is an absolute must, and I think as well that'll be really good for TV viewings. You'll think about it. Look at it happens in tennis.
Yeah.
And it happens in other sports. Obviously, we don't want to be swearing on this channel. That we don't talk about the sports, do we?
We can't swear on Super League, Robert. We're not like other podcasts, mate. But carry on.
But rugby league, I think that's the way forward. We should be doing that because it gives the chance for the new fans, especially looking at Channel 4. We've got new viewers thinking, oh man, yeah, the players actually get involved with this.
Yeah, and I saw as well. I saw an article. The last 2 games on Channel 4 still pulling in over 500,000. 7%. I saw an article that said 7% of the total share was on that game at the weekend. 7% of all viewing figures. That is, and Channel. I mean, I don't know about you as well. That I think if that was a consistent every week on Channel 4 at the same time, I think that audience would grow again. I think the problem with, if they're pulling in 500,000 when people don't even know when it is and when it's not, I mean, we've had I think best part 6 weeks between games, which is unbelievable. But I think if that could get a degree of consistency in terms of when they show it, I think it would be phenomenal for the game. And I think, we've had our fill with Sky. I think Sky. I don't know if you watch it. Do you watch the? We'll get back to the highlights in a minute because we're not going to be. We Greg got here predictions. Me and Joel will have a quick chat about next week. But predictions will be done. Will be done on the forum. So me and Joel can just have a bit of a chat. Do you watch the? I don't know what they call it. The final verdict on Sky at about 11:30 on a Wednesday.
Oh, sometimes, but
it's a nonsense.
No,
it's a nonsense. They talk about darts this week. They were talking about the England football team because Ashwell Bolt's girlfriend was in, and they wasted 15 minutes where they could actually talk and promote Super League by talking about the women's Euro too. I mean, what are you doing? It's and Wilkin, mate. Oh God, alive. Did you see the one where he had his dog on?
It's just getting silly, He's I feel like that these certain this is me talking from a purely fan base
yeah,
here, and
yeah.
this is not just Huddersfield fans. This is other fans. Is you find that them commentators, they are meant to be neutrals, and they ain't.
No.
They've got the favourite teams and sub teams, and they promote them to the end of the earth and back. You know, you look at. I'll give you an example. I can't remember who it was we were playing. A few weeks back, we were on Sky, and they kept saying, "Oh, Huddersfield ain't going to do it. Got a few injuries. They're not going to do nothing." Look at the pedigree of. I can't remember who it was.
May as well turn off.
Exactly.
Game hasn't kicked off. We may as well change channels.
Yeah. and for us, as Huddersfield fans, with the lowest crowds, bar maybe Salford and ones like that, you know, it's not good for us. And they should be looking at stuff like that and thinking, how can we help the teams that are struggling with attendances to grow it? And they're not doing that.
No, you deserve, mate. You deserve more fans, mate. You know, me and Greg have always had a spot for. I mean, you talk about soft spots for teams. We've always had a soft spot for Huddersfield. I don't know why. I don't know where that's come from. But I just think Huddersfield. You haven't got many fans, but the fans you've got are knowledgeable rugby fans. That's what I would say.
Because you felt sorry for us.
No. Do you know what? No, I think you've had players over the years that have just been solid rugby league professionals. I think and I think that's what it is. And I think that. Yeah, there's something. I know it's just something about Huddersfield. I don't know what it is that we've always liked, and I think over the years your teams have deserved better in terms of the people in the stands. I really do. I think they've been quality. I mean, as you know, I try to be as impartial as possible. When you've got Greg on, who's Mr. Warrington, you know. You've got to. I'm a Warrington fan, but I try my best. To keep it. I mean, we even had a spat 2 weeks ago that got a couple of people a bit worried. But you know, that's just the way it is, isn't it? God bless him. He's a top man. And of course, we're on the road next year, Joe. We're on the road, so we will be coming. So we're having a beer next year. We're having a beer, my friend. We're having a beer. Just make sure we don't. Make sure we don't get into any trouble. That's all I'd say. Right, let's take a look. Come on, you've been itching for this. Here's your team. Let's get on with it. So the mighty Huddersfield Giants, who are having a phenomenal season under Mr. Watson. Over to you, Joe. Was you there?
No, that was the day I was travelling down to Wales.
Right, okay.
But I had plenty of people letting me know. I was on Twitter, making sure I saw every try, and I literally landed here where we are. And I just saw that Hull scored again. And I was like, oh, my word. Here we go. Business end at season and we're going down. And then all of a sudden, you know, and you look at some of these tries from Hull, they were good tries.
They were good tries, but not in keeping with how... I mean, I think your defence has been a bit better than that this season, to be honest.
Yeah, I watched the highlights a few times and I've noticed that, and even the games that I'm at, if I watch the highlights or on record, if it's on Sky or whatever, I have seen that we are very soft sometimes in defence. Very soft. You know,
good try that.
Yeah, it was a good try. Stop talking and watch that. Oh, fantastic. Big to his back.
And I don't know if you saw that there. Was Will Price doing his audition for Strictly there? I mean, that'd be good for the game. That'd be good for the game, wouldn't it? Will Price on Strictly Come Dancing. That'd be great for the game.
I think we need to put a montage of how many times he's done stuff like that throughout the season.
Mate, he's got great feet, mate. You know, Brian Clough used to say, didn't he? Great feet, and he has got great feet. Farge, mate, what have you made of Farge this season?
Oh, absolutely unbelievable. I think one of the best players we've had. And I'm not saying that from the fact of he's come from Saints. I'm saying that from he is such a fantastic player. He comes on that field, he lifts everyone.
Yeah.
He's like Levi. He lifts everybody. And, you know, his kicking game in field, you know, the amount of 40-20 chances he's had.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He's clearly a champion player for a reason, isn't he?
Absolutely. And that man there, I mean, we're big advocates of him. Since Luke Yates has been put back to loose forward, he's been a revelation, hasn't
he? Yeah. I don't know if you heard, but other week they put Josh Jones at centre. Absolutely no idea how that big man could last the whole game.
No.
Unbelievable.
Well, to be fair, Jones, McQueen have been brilliant. I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? Kenny Edwards was let go on loan to Castleford because Jones and McQueen outstanding. I mean, Kenny Edwards has been ripping it up at Castleford, hasn't he? I mean,
great player.
He's quality, mate. And actually, every now and again, he actually pops in here. Hopefully one day he might actually come on and we can have a chat. But
have you heard the rumour? I heard a rumour today that Latelli might be going to Lee.
Yes, he is. I mean, and you know, Beaumont. I mean, you know, I've got. I hope. I mean, personally, I'd go to 14 teams and get rid of the round robins. I would. I mean, if I was looking to expand the game, based on how much money now that Lee has invested. I mean, again, the hierarchy at the Rugby Football League, they should be looking at what Lee have done and gone, right, they are planning for Super League. Toulouse have got more competitive as the season has gone on. Wakefield, all right, Wakefield, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I fear for Wakefield. If Wakefield manage to stay up, the amount of players that are leaving Wakefield at the end of the season, I don't see their recruitment is going to be good enough in terms of replacing those players. So for me, it's inevitable. I'm sorry, Wakefield fans, that if you don't go this year, you're going to struggle next year. And I'm sorry for saying that, but that's just the thing. Unless I start to see some really good recruitment, I really fear for Wakefield, if not this year, next year. But I think, if they allowed Lee to come up, and probably Featherstone, because again, Featherstone under McDermott, they've invested. I mean, don't get me wrong, Post Office Road is a shocking ground, but and it is. I mean, and I think that there's probably people in the higher echelons of the Rugby Football League who, and forgive me, Featherstone fans, good traditional rugby league team. Got nothing against Featherstone, but they'll look at that ground and go, "Do we really want that on Sky? Do we want that on Channel 4?" And
True.
But again, why don't we think outside the box? If you said to Featherstone, "Well, look, we want you to develop your ground and maybe, just maybe, go into some sort of deal with a Castleford, or dare I say Wakefield, and say, look, ground share for a season until you get your ground up to, so you don't have that issue." All right, you could argue it, take a bit of the, because let's be fair, I think anybody who goes to Featherstone would have a bit of a game. It's a leveler. It's an absolute leveler. Yeah. But yeah, 14 teams, just do the 14 teams, get on with it, and let's see where we go. It's not going to happen, but
it will be better. Only from the and bear in mind, before I say what I say, I like Lee. I love Lee being in Super League. It's great.
Good ground and all.
It is. The problem for me with Lee is they're a bit of a yo-yo club. They can come up, but they can also go down.
But is that because they've not, and again, if you remember last year, Lee didn't do as well as Toulouse did this season in terms of getting the recruits in. They were dumped in Super League at the 11th hour, and they suffered for that. Absolutely suffered for that. Whereas Toulouse again looked as if that could be happening at Toulouse, but French players coming in plus the NRL reinforcements, Ollie Ashelbot, another one reinforcement coming in. They've managed to galvanise and get stronger as the season's gone on. Lee didn't really have that, but I think the fact that Lee, and again, the Rugby Football League should be looking at Lee are planning for Super League now next year. The recruit. I mean, how's Ferguson playing for Lee? I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
That's the missing piece, the jigsaw for him, I think.
Yeah,
they've not gone out there and thought, right, we're going to go after these big players. They want to make their own rumblings. Lee have been very good at getting very good championship players and some fringe Super League players and managing to get up. This year now, this is what I've thought they've needed to do, is get a call out for these big players, put some money in the pockets, get them signed, and then really, make the stake hold on Super League.
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. Spot on. Right, it pains me to say this. We're going to the Warrington game now. Pains me to say this. We've already spoke about it. I think Warrington is in transition. I think it's the right thing that they stick by Powell. And for the first 40 minutes, this could have been very, very different. Very, very different. As a Warrington fan, I'll be honest, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, that, to be fair, had he not been in touch, that was a great. Bevan French doesn't know that he's that's going to be chalked off. I mean, he does the best he can, but good finish. It's a good finish, albeit of course his foot's in tuck, but it's a good finish. But Warrington in this game, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the Curry try was a try. I'll be dead honest. I do not think, and I think Curry's reaction. You actually watch it in a minute. Curry's reaction, his eyes tell the story. I don't even think Curry thinks he gets this down. But anyway, it was given. But Warrington, I don't know, the amount of times this year it happened against Salford, it happened against Hull KR, it's happened in this game. The amount of times this year Warrington have gone through and cannot finish. When unless it's Matty Ashton clear onto the line, if there's any sort of passing needed, for whatever reason, they just go. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, this year they don't show the Williams opportunity in this. They just go straight to the try for Halsall on the far side. But again, Williams, why didn't Williams go himself? Why has he tried to pass the ball to Fewless? It was crazy.
You'll know better than me, but for me, some games in Warrington, Williams has been non-existent.
No, he's not. He's not, mate, and that is a real concern because you're right. He's not been at the races at all. I mean, there's been glimpses. I thought he played half decent against Hull KR, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he played well. He played decent in this game. It's just a couple. I mean, again, that is very reminiscent. I don't know if you saw the highlights the other week. Very reminiscent of Corbin Sims. Corbin Sims had 3 players around him for Hull KR. 3 players around him. Kai Pearce-Paul there, at least 2 or 3 players. He's allowed to get the ball out inside the 5 metres. You can't do that. It's criminal. You just can't do that. It's basics of rugby league, isn't it? It's defence.
Inconsistency. With Warrington, and I saw this the other week, is they've either got 3 people in defence or nobody.
Yeah.
And that's not excusable. You can't do that.
Great offload that by French, mate.
Yeah. Oh man, Marshall's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like Josh Fulis, but Greg said this on. I mean, Greg is we're mates as well, so there's a lot of dialogue back and to when games on, etc. I think Fulis needs to go out and learn his craft. For me, he was poor against Hull KR, and again in this one, he was seen as the Achilles heel. They were putting the bombs up, and every time it went up, I had no confidence. He's going to be a great player, Fulis. Wouldn't have signed him up for long term.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's like that there. I mean, if I just take that back, I mean, as a fullback here, now you can see where he is. He's with the referee.
Yeah.
He has got to sprint. This is a problem. He's only going one way. And by the time he decides to sprint, it's too late. It's too late. And,
you should have seen that miles back.
Miles back. And that's not his fault. That's about young players going out, getting some valuable experience and coming back better. And, obviously Dufty should be back for Toulouse. I mean, I believe he was very dangerous against you. He looked, and considering he'd only been off the plane for about 4 days, he can only get better.
He was unbelievable, that lad. He were. Everyone just could not believe it in the crowd, saying, "Look how good this lad is." But that were a massive, massive risk putting him on.
Yeah, I agree. But back this week, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Saints, yet again, they just know how to get the job done. This was another tight game. They'll be pleased to have Makinson back. What a season Tommy Makinson's had, Joe.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't he? I think any club would have him.
Yeah. And Simonen's growing, isn't he? I mean, I know he's banned, isn't he? He's going to be missing for a couple, but Simonen's got better as the season's gone on.
He has, but he needs to be careful. I think that's a couple of times now this season.
He has, mate. Yeah, you're right. I think it's about at least 2, maybe 3 occasions now that he's been out. Yeah, which is not good.
Do you know who's really impressed me? Jack Wilsby.
Quality, mate.
Since that grand final.
Yeah.
When it was COVID.
Yeah.
Oh man, he has just come on leaps and bounds. He's going to be a future star.
He's a quality player, mate. He's a quality player. I mean, again, last year when we were doing this, we were raving about him. And again, it's that no matter where he plays. I mean, if you remember last year, he was pretty much centre of fullback. This season, he started fullback. He's had to go into the hours. We Dodd not there, and every time he's just stepped up, and a class player. What do you make of Morgan Knowles? Because me and Greg, we don't get this fascination that people have with Morgan Knowles. What's your view on Morgan Knowles?
I'm same. I've got absolutely no idea what people are raving about, to be honest with you. That might upset a few people, but I don't know. Just sometimes all it takes is them to have one good game. People rave about him, and then regardless of how they play it next few weeks, he's still the best player on pitch. And I think Sky are a bit of a culprit for that. I'm not an anti-Sky person at all.
No.
But, why wax lyrical about someone who's not having... there's other players in the league that aren't getting talked about that are far better. And that's just being brutally honest.
Who would you... And who are you thinking of when you say that?
Where do you even start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because Super League this week, I mean, and again, I think Knowles is a player. I think he's a quality player. I'm not saying he's not a quality player. But when I look, I mean, it's like this week. This week he got in the Super League Team of the Week. Okay. Look, stats are stats. And again, it's stats are stats. But I watched this game. there was nothing special. There's nothing special in this game, as far as I was. Yes, he got his try. We just saw that a minute ago. 35 tackles, good effort. He made 4 carries for 25 meters as a loose forward. Now, Joe Westerman this season, I think, has been outstanding. He didn't have his best game, if truth was to be told. But looking at your man, Luke Yates. So Luke Yates for Huddersfield, 46 tackles, 14 carries, so busy, 109 meters. You know, I mean, even Brad Fash for Hull, 43 tackles, 129 meters from 18 carries.
In fact, Brad Fash is one of them, I think. You know, when's he ever spoke about? Ian?
Well, he's not, because he's not fashionable. Me and Greg say this all the time. He's not fashionable, is he?
No, fash but not fashionable. Yeah, why?
He's got the mate. We're talking about the best mullet in Super League here, mate. Let's show him some respect. But yeah, and Faraimo's had a decent season, hasn't he?
Yeah. Do you know, this year I don't know, they've been a bit under the radar. They are playing some good rugby.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree completely. I think they are. Oh, hang on, I'm messing about here. Yeah, no, they are. I think Cass on the day. You know, I'll be honest with you, mate. Beginning of the season, Castleford came to Warrington, one of the few wins Warrington's had this season. And I remember coming away from that game and I telephoned Greg and I said there was a massive disconnect between the players and the fans. It was ugly. You know, the fans that had travelled over, it was ugly. Something just wasn't right. But you know, credit to Lee Radford. As the season's gone on, he's clearly got them on side, and they're very, very competitive. I fancy him. I do fancy Castleford for the top 6. I think it's going to be between them and maybe Salford. I think Leeds, as the season's going on, are looking more and more like a top 6 side. I think the top 4 are nailed on. Yourselves nailed on. Wigan nailed on. Saints and Catalan nailed on. No issues there. I think Leeds look to be in some sort of forward momentum, and then it's probably going to be between, for me, Castleford and Salford, because I think Hull seem to be in a bit of free fall. I think KR with their injuries may struggle. So yeah, what's your thoughts on the 6?
I'm close to you on that one. Before the season started, I put Leeds second, just for the fact that the players that they had and who they recruited, you know, to bolster the team. I couldn't believe it how the year started for them. But now that the Leeds are doing what Leeds always do, business end at season, you know, can't seem to lose almost. No. And
well, Greg always says that, mate. All the injuries seem to go away at the end of the season. Let's take a look at them.
Yeah.
Andy and Sue, I'm sure you know Andy and Sue, always regulars. They want us to just mention Fecky, of course, back from injury and scoring at the weekend. Absolutely, Andy and Sue.
Yeah.
Good to see the lad back. Foster-Tua, you know, we've given great raps to Brodie Croft. There's Newman, who I think's a tidy player. Foster-Tua, what have you made of him? It came over a big reputation. People thought he was going to do big things. Is he? We said, didn't we, that some players it takes some time to acclimatise. What do you make of him?
He is exact example of what I said earlier to you. Players that come over that you think are going to absolutely barnstorm everything, you know, and they either don't at all.
No,
it's like they underplay or they don't get played eventually because they're not doing much. Because some people are just their game is NRL or Super League, you know, and it's same other way around. But yeah, look, Brodie Croft, you know, absolutely unbelievable.
And Lafai, mate. I mean, Lafai's been a revelation. I mean, I like watching the lad. He's got it, hasn't he? I mean, here he goes again. I mean, like I say, it's these players under the radar that they brought in. I mean, Croft again there, lovely cut out ball to CO. CO backing up on last year. I mean, again, you know, top try scorer last year, CO in a team. Let's be fair, that's not traditionally thereabouts. And this year again, backed it up. Great try scoring stats.
Can CO? Oh man, he is always a guy. He's Mr. Dependable, and he really on wing.
Yeah.
You know, you very rarely see him having a bad game.
No. If you get him the service, he'll score, won't he?
Oh, yeah. In answer to your earlier question, I do see these two being in top 6. I do.
Are these the two, do you think?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a mix-up between... Cass have got to be careful. I think Leeds could potentially take Cass's place. But I would like to say I'll be wrong.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I don't. And this guy's had a great season, hasn't he, Ash Hanley? And he's had even when Leeds were struggling at the start of the season, like Jack Walker was amazing. I mean, Jack Walker, I thought was really tidy for Leeds early. I was surprised when he went to Hull, if I'm being honest, because I think Jack Walker had a good spell at the start of the season. But him and Handley, probably Dwyer, I put into that bracket as well.
Jack Walker was their player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the start of the season, I thought, because you remember at the start of the season when I think Marley got his injury, they put Walker in. And Walker, for at least 3 or 4 rounds, tidy, very, very tidy. So, like I said, I was very surprised. I mean, and this again fuels the rumour that Hardaker will stay on, because I was surprised to learn that Leeds had let him leave. I was surprised at that.
You'd think that you try and bring the young blood on a little bit more, wouldn't you?
I think Walker's a tidy player.
He is,
really,
but
that could come back to
Warrington.
Yeah. It could come back to Warrington, mate. It could come back to Warrington. But even though Red Devils went down in that game, there's some nice moments in there. Alex Sharp. Let's have a look at here now. Alex Sharp, he's underrated. He's not a try scorer. However, he's getting out of deadline ball and catching his second to none. He's getting out the. So I think he's on Kencio there. Alex backing us up in terms of maybe Kencio. Just let us know, Alex, if I've got that right. Just having a quick look. I'm enjoying my conversation that much. I'm not keeping an eye on this as much as I should do, but it's good to have a chat. But no, we've got plenty of followers, which is always good to see. Right, okay, so where are we going now? Trinity Dragons. And again, Trinity, credit to them. Don't know about you, Catalan, they're getting the results, but I don't know. It's an odd one with Catalan, because they are getting the results. They're up there, but they don't seem to be playing as well as they did last year.
No, at the beginning of the season, Catalan started strong, looked strong. That was a given. But as the summer months have now started to really come into play, Catalan just seemed to have dipped a bit. Yeah. I know they did one over us, but man, you've got to give it to them. They know how to score tries, but you look at this, they should be walking over Wakefield. I'm sorry to say that,
Yeah.
Love Wakefield.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And of course, again, is it complacency? I mean, they got off to a great start, 12-0 up, that they're playing well. But then, for whatever reason,
see, Wakefield... my thing with this is sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, go on.
My thing with this is twofold. With Catalan, have they been, made much bigger than what they are from last season, because they did do so well?
Yeah.
Of course, they've built really well.
Brilliant.
But you look at
that was brilliant from Langy, though. Brilliant from Langy. Standing that.
Brilliant player, yeah.
And of course, from a Wakefield, that'd have hurt Wakefield, because if you remember last year, he was supposed to be going to Wakefield and then pulled out. Alex Sharp here saying that where are we going here now? He's saying that they had 13 players missing in this Catalan. Which, you know what? Good knowledge, that, Alex. And to be fair to Catalan, I remember early in the season, with a mixture of both suspensions and injuries, they had a few problems in terms of fielding teams. Early doors.
I'm not sure. I think Catalan have got quite a strong squad, though, aren't they? Really, in depth. They have done over a couple of years, and this year they really put the stake on that. So you'd have thought that they'd been able to back it up a little bit more than that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I mean, we talk about Sky spoiling the season. Alex Sharp's trying his best there. He's saying that the way it's going to pan out is, we're still 5 or 6 rounds away, but the way it's going to pan out is it's going to be Huddersfield versus Leeds, Catalan versus Salford. That'll then turn into St Helens versus Leeds. He's saying that you're going against Leeds. St Helens versus Leeds, Wigan versus Catalan, with a Wigan St Helens final, is Alex's prediction. I don't know about that. I think there could be a surprise coming.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think this year more than any, there's a chance of a Yorkshire versus Lancashire.
Could be.
I'd like to see that. There should be more of that.
Well, I mean, look, I think it's fair to say. I mean, the Challenge Cup final. I think you're a very. I think as disappointed as you'll be to lose that Challenge Cup final. They always say about grand finals, you've got to lose one to win one. And I think that, for long periods of that grand final, you had him. I think if Chris Hill stays on the field, it could have been very different because you were bullying him. That first half, you were absolutely bullying him. It could be a blessing in disguise. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know that were a big one for us because Chris leaving field, he was a big game player for us.
Yeah.
You know, we needed him to marshal the troops around the field.
Yeah.
And the other thing was as well is it were very unlike him was Tui missed a few of his kicks. And don't get me wrong, for those who don't know about Tui, that lad can kick.
Yeah.
But he just
he had a bad
day
day at the office, didn't he? He had a really bad day at the office. I mean, again, you talk about decision making. I mean, look at this. Why is he not passing this ball now? Oh, you know that was glory, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was glory. Let me go and get the glory.
He had tons of room there.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. Right, okay, great stuff. Fantastic. Some great tries there, some great chat. Let's see how they stand. St. Helens, 22 games gone now, of course, 36 points. Wigan have hope. There's no doubt about that. Wigan will not be giving up on the League Leaders Shield. Massive game coming up. I think it's in a couple of rounds' time. Saints against Wigan. That'll be one for every neutral.
Huge.
I'm sure we'll watch. Nothing better than seeing two good teams go at it when your players aren't playing. I think that could be a really good game. Then, of course, Huddersfield, who've been thereabouts all season, guaranteed now to be pretty much in the top four. Personally, I'd like to see them hold on to third. I think they deserve third this season. I do think Saints and Wigan perhaps deserve the 1 and 2, but without question, Huddersfield deserve the third. Carlisle I expect to be there. Castleford and Leeds at the moment having 5th and 6th. Salford, don't count them out. Hull continue to fall. Hull KR, like we say, with their injury problems, going to be an issue. Warrington, maybe it's blind faith. I'm still not too concerned. That might change this time next week. Wakefield and Toulouse, and of course, probably going to battle it out, I would have thought.
Yeah. I think you guys are definitely safe. I would say that just from the fact of how I've seen you guys play compared to Wakefield and Toulouse, I think you've just got the players just to tip you over. You're not going down this season. I'm pretty confident of that.
Well, you can come again, mate, because you're making my blood pressure go down, which is fantastic.
Do you know? I'll tell you what the big one for me is Hull and Salford. How close it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think Salford. I think with all the swapping and changing in the injuries, I mean, they've had some shocking injuries this year. Injuries. They always seem to decline at the back end. It's a shame, but they do. I think Salford. I think they might just. I know we've said that maybe Salford. I don't know. I think when you. I think Leeds. I think now they're in a position where they will remain in the top 6. I think it's between Castleford and Salford. And who's your money on? I don't know. It's going to be.
If you look at the defence of Leeds, it's quite a bit better than Cass's.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it is. I think Leeds are. I'm getting more confidence in Leeds as the season's going on. I think they will get into the top 6, and then after that, I do think of the rest, the most likely is it's a Castleford-Salford shootout for 6th. I think Leeds probably will end up 5th by the end of the season. I don't know, could be wrong. Right, mate, what we're going to do now is quick look at Team of the Week, and then we'll come back, have a little chat about the week ahead, and then I'll let you get on with your beers and your whatever you're doing down there in Wales, my friend. So, right, here we go. Team of the Week for round number 22. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Super League World Team of the Week from round number 22. Here we go again. And at fullback will be Arthur Morg of the Caroline Dragon. 2 very vital assists against Wakefield Trinity. This guy's too good to be on a bench. Every time we see him here at Super League World, we think he's a bit of a player. 4 goals as well. He was sensational in this match. At number 2, it will be Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors. Another hat-trick for him in a season that just goes from strength to strength. We expect him to score many more between now and the end of the season. Now 3rd top try scorer in the league with Mr. Jack Wellsby. At number 3, it will be Leroy Cudjoe of Huddersfield Giants on his 300th appearance in Super League. A player that has rolled back the years in 2022. A very important assist as the Huddersfield Giants come from behind to beat Hull FC. And at number 4, it will be the captain of Hull KR, Sean Kenny-Dowell. Again, the late show for Hull KR against Toulouse Olympic. Very spirited performance from Toulouse. A great assist from Kenny-Dowell. Very, very important as well. Some vital challenges in defence. Captain's performance. At number 5, it will be Barreto Ferramo, keeping out for have Yahar, who also got a hat-trick this week. A good 3 tries here for Frimo in this game last week. Superb display yet again in a 12-20 defeat, of course, to St. Helens. And number 6, Brodie Croft of the Salford Red Devils. Yes, we know they lost, but he was outstanding yet again against the Leeds Rhinos. He is now at the top of the Albert Goldthorpe medal list. That's how good this player has been this season. And number 7, Richie Myler in the same game for Leeds Rhinos in the halves this week. Obviously played a lot of time at fullback for the Leeds Rhinos, but this week in the halves, and he was sensational. Good try, good assist, all round a very, very good display. Well done, Mr. Myler. And number 8, it will be Alex Walmsley of St. Helens. He's back with the meters, back with a bang. Big Alex doing what he does best as the World Cup gets nearer and nearer. We need him on the best of form. At number 9, it will be Danny Levy of the Huddersfield Giants. We've been really impressed with him throughout the season. He has been a great signing for Huddersfield Giants. A very good import indeed. 2 brilliant tries and an assist. He was vital in that comeback against Hull FC. And number 10, Daniel Alvaro of the Toulouse Olympic. We said a few weeks ago, didn't we? This player could be pivotal for Toulouse as the season goes on, and he was superb again against Hull KR. Just not quite good enough, of course, to stay in front in that game, but well played indeed to Alvaro. At number 11, Curtis Simmons. This is about his 3rd appearance, albeit he is, of course, going to be spending a bit of time on the sides after he's banned this week. But a good performance from this St. Helens second rower. He's really starting to catch the eye now in the Saints side. At number 12, well, when Reece Martin plays well, so too do the Leeds Rhinos. 7 brilliant goals, 2 tries. It was the Reece Martin show in the 34-14 demolition of the Salford Red Devils, a team, of course, who is in great form. And finally, at number 13, it will be Elliot Minchella of Hull KR. Again, very, very strong performance. A good try from him, 38 tackles, outstanding in defence. He always brings the bit. Well done to Elliot Minchella as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your team of the week for round number 22. So round number 22 in the can, as they say. Joel, what's your thoughts of our team of the week for round 22?
I've got to laugh every time I see Walmsley's name on there because he's just brilliant, isn't he? He's just great. But you know, for me, it was great to see Minchella in there. You know, big fan, big fan. Such a good player, and you've got to say, Reece Martin's probably got to be up there in the kickers.
He is, and of course, as we'll go out as we always go out with the leading stats of the season so far. And yes, you're quite right. Reece Martin continues to be in the top 3 goal kickers this season. Martin, for me, good with a kick, but equally, very, very potent in terms of his try scoring. And like we said there in the overlay to the video, when he plays well, Leeds play well. He's such a vital player at this moment in time for the Leeds Rhinos. Is Reece Martin, no question about that. And what we like, we talked earlier on about Morgan Knowles. I mean, one thing we pride ourselves on in terms of our teams of the weeks, it's balanced. There's no colours. I mean, rightly so. I think probably Warrington players have only featured in this about maybe 4, maybe 5 times the entire season. And the likes of Ferrimo getting there. I mean, Myler, I noticed again in the Super League one this week, it was Harry Smith and Johnny Lomax. But anybody who watched the game, Leeds Salford, Myler was superb at scrum half. I can't remember the last time he was at scrum half. But he was there when he was at Warrington. He played a lot of scrum half.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic. He played a really good game.
You can depend on him, can't you?
Yeah, I think Leeds are getting the best out of him, and it's been interesting. Richie Myler. Leeds have got the best out of Richie Myler. There's no question about it. Right. Okay, that's the team of the week in the can for another week. Right. So what we're going to do now, very, very quickly. I'm sure Joel. I know Joel always goes on the Facebook forum and puts his prediction in there. Make sure you still do. They will go live tomorrow. So tomorrow they will go live as normal on a Wednesday, and of course we will take the readings just before kickoff. But yeah, another good week for the fans forum. They can, you guys continue to get it right this year. I had another off week. It has to be said. I only picked up, I think it was 6 points this week. Fans forum got 7. But the big move of that last week was Greg. Greg got 11 points, taking him level now with me. So about 4 weeks ago, there was about 2 points between all of us. The fans forum really, really doing well over the last 3 to 4 weeks. It would appear maybe me and Greg are going to have some deep pockets when we go on our travels next year with a few of the fans.
You two are going the 12 rounds, aren't you?
Well, it looks that way in a minute. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But anyway, there's still a long way to go. Still a long way to go. Many, many rounds still to go, and it can spin. But well done to the fans forum, doing really well. Right, let's have a quick look then at the fixtures. Starting off on Thursday, the big one in terms of certainly if you're a Warrington fan and a Toulouse fan, Warrington Wolves taking on Toulouse at the Halliwell Jones live on Sky this Thursday night at 8 o'clock. At the same time, Castleford will entertain the Catalan Dragons and Hull KR will entertain the Leeds Rhinos. Okay, let's talk these three first. As a neutral in all of these three, Joel, where do you see these going? First of all, Warrington Toulouse, where do you see it?
That will be the tightest game of the round.
Okay,
I'm saying that straight off. Yeah, I think home advantage has got a bit on the side there. The crowd will them to go on just for the points the points on the table. You're so close to, staying in that position of out of relegation talk. So I think Warrington are going to do it by 2.
By 2, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a nail biter for me then. Fantastic, wonderful stuff. Then we go to the Mendoz jungle. Castleford Tigers taking on the Catalan Dragons. We've just said about Catalan, they're a bit here, there, and everywhere at the moment. Taking on Castleford. What's your thoughts on this one?
Catalan over the past month or so have, how Hull is a win one, lose one, lose one kind of scenario. I see Cats doing them. By 6 or 8 points there.
Another tight one. He's going another tight one. And then Hull KR entertaining the Leeds Rhinos.
Leeds are going to do it on 20 points.
Ooh, a comfortable win.
Yeah,
they're on a comfortable win.
They're just looking stronger and stronger. I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, but yeah, they're playing as a really good team now. They are really, really playing well.
Rightio. And then we go to Saturday. 3 games, one game on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Salford Red Devils, of course, taking on Joel's Huddersfield Giants. I wonder which way he's going to go there. But that one is on Sky. That's on Channel 4. So that's going to be good to see. Fantastic. 2 teams, two good attacking teams, both in good form. Should be a good game. Again, you think at the start of the season, from a Channel 4 perspective, that could be a feast of rugby league, that game, I have to say. Hull FC entertaining the St. Helens, and then finally Wakefield taking on the Wigan Warriors. Right then, Joe, starting with your team. Huddersfield Giants going to the AJ Bell. What's your thoughts?
I'd be stupid to say Huddersfield won't win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say why.
Go on.
Tui's back now. I believe Chris Hill might be back next week.
Right.
Potentially.
Right.
With Salford, how they played last game and how we managed to dig in and win at the end, I think we're going to have just a little bit too much for them. And I'm going to go within 4.
Within 4. Okay, fantastic. Another tight game, which is good. Right, then we've got Hull FC taking on Saints.
I'm sorry, but it's going to be a big score, this. Yeah, it's going to be a big score. I've got to say 18 plus.
18 plus for Saints, I presume.
Yeah.
And then finally, Wakefield taking on Wigan.
Wakefield will put up a bigger fight than we probably think.
Okay.
Wigan are going to win by 20.
Okay.
But I think Wakefield will put a few more points on the board than what a lot of us probably think.
Tight for 40, do you think? Tight first half, and then Wigan put a roll on second.
I think Wakefield are going to come out strong, but then we're just going to roll them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, make sure that you go on to the forum tomorrow. Put those predictions in there alongside your fellow forum members. It'd be good to say, Joel. From me personally, it's been we've never met. We have never met, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time me and Joel have ever held a conversation or seen each other in our lives. But I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. It's been wonderful to get your perspective on Huddersfield, but also on wider Super League issues. Come back next week. It'd be great to have you again for another week with Greg absent. It'd be tremendous to have you. I know that the forum members have thoroughly enjoyed your contribution this evening. You picked a great week to be in Wales. The sun is going to be shining. It's a lovely part of the world. So, apologise to your family for me taking you away from them for an hour and a half. But
they're glad of it.
Are they? Oh, fair enough. They can pay me then. They can pay me. But no, great stuff. Joel, it's been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week. Joel as well. We will be back next week, 8 o'clock. For Super League Fans Forum, Super League Raw Weekly. Fans Forum, get online next week. As we always do, we're going to finish the show with the top performers in Super League thus far this season. Joel, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for stepping in at the 11th hour. And we will both see you next week for Super League Raw Weekly. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Well, Stephanie McIntosh burst onto Ramsay Street as rebellious teenager Sky Mangle.
Yeah, uptight middle-class Anglo males. Don't show any feelings or your stiff upper lip might crack. You're going to stay at his tonight, aren't you?
Get a life, will you?
You're a bigger idiot than I thought. He's at least 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to miss you. You've been like a big sister to me. No, Grandad, you don't get to decide what's for the best.
Oh, perhaps we can talk about this later, eh?
No, we will talk about it now and Dylan will be a part of it. We're not children. We're Kerry's parents and we are the ones that are responsible for her upbringing, not you.
Yes, Stephanie joins us now live from Austin, Texas. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Hi, I'm so well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So many different looks there. Blonde hair, dark hair, short hair, long hair. You've been through everything, haven't you?
All of it. I remember when I auditioned, my third audition with the EPs, and it was a chemistry read, and up until then there was no hair chat, and the EP at the time came and pulled all my hair off, and then like a day later got the role, and you're dyeing your hair black and blue, cutting it all off, and I was like, huh, okay, here we go. We're done again.
At least you didn't have to go for the Tony mullet. That would have been way worse, right?
This is true. This is definitely true.
Well, you really grew up on television, didn't you, Steph? You were 17 when you got your big break on Neighbours. What are your first memories? Do you remember your very first day walking onto set and starting a big TV career?
I did, and I do. It was very out of body. I couldn't believe that like the vision board had come to life. You know, Neighbours was the show that you wanted to be on and wished to be on, and it was a dream. It was far away, and yeah, to think that it all happened and at such a young age, it was so exciting. Every emotion, every cliche emotion was happening, and you know, I remember seeing the script getting delivered to my house and seeing my name and Neighbours. It was incredible. It was an actor's dream, you know?
Yeah. Well, our floor manager, Erin, just came up before the interview and she told us that you were her favourite on the show.
Fave.
She absolutely loved you.
She cried when you left the show, she said. No, she didn't say it.
She did cry when I came onto this show, though.
She did.
But anyway, now you had some pretty crazy storylines. That's probably why people loved you so much. Wow, you went to prison. I guess one of the huge storylines was a same-sex kiss with a character called Lana.
Yes, I did. I was so blessed with my character and all the storylines. The writers trusted me and let me run amok. And Neighbours was really brave entering that storyline at the time that they did that. And I was really proud then to represent it. And I'm still proud now. And, we tackled a storyline that was not such a mainstream conversation at the time. And it was the first same-sex kiss on Neighbours. So it was a privilege to be a part of that, and really, really great as an actor. And I was with a brilliant actress, Bridget Naval, who was so easy to work with. So it was wonderful.
Yeah, and brave for Neighbours for writing that storyline, and also brave for you as a young actress to stand there and say, "Yep, I'm doing this, and this is the change I'm going to make." The world, as we know, is still coming to terms with the fact that Neighbours is sadly coming to an end. We're farewelling an iconic piece of Australian television. It's hard to kind of wrap your head around it, right? What was your reaction when you heard the news?
It really is hard to wrap your head around. I think it's bittersweet. I think all good things must come to